Up Taiwan? I'm Erika Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. China is amping up its attempts to hack into Taiwan's government systems, according to a recent report from Taiwan's Security Bureau. Reese Ayers has more on what Beijing is targeting and why.
Cyberattacks on Taiwanese institutions have doubled in the last year, with the vast majority of those attacks coming from China. That's according to a report by Taiwan's intelligence agency. The National Security Bureau says the average number of attacks on Taiwanese systems increased twofold, from 1.2 million to 2.4 million attacks per day from 2023 to 2024. The agency has said they're able to fend off most of those attacks, but that the sheer volume of activity just demonstrates the increasingly severe nature of China's hacking activities. The report says that most attacks, around 80%, target government networks, and that there's been a steep rise in attacks on the telecommunications sector, financial institutions, transport networks, and even defense supply chains, as well as private businesses. The report also said that hacking methods are becoming increasingly sophisticated, using a range of techniques from DOS attacks to phishing email campaigns and Trojan and backdoor viruses. So, what is China's goal here? The government networks targeted by these attacks facilitate communication channels between different agencies and host online services where people pay taxes or store national health or labor insurance data. All of that could prove valuable information for China, which, remember, claims Taiwan and has said it will take it by any means necessary. Access to confidential information and networks could help China take Taiwan offline and disrupt infrastructure across the country should they ever decide to make a move. Taking down transport networks, financial services, energy grids would all make an attack or a blockade of Taiwan much easier and could even send Taiwan into a state of panic. But Taiwan won't take all of this lying down. Part of President Lai Ching-te's Civil Defense Committee plan is to improve Taiwan's national technological resilience and also to raise public awareness about the threats from China in regards to stealing Taiwan's most sensitive information. Justin Wu, John Su and Reese Ayers in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Partisan tension is threatening to boil over in the legislature, with the ruling Democratic Progressive Party and the main opposition party, the Kuomintang, threatening mass recall campaigns against each other. Amid the bitterness, one lawmaker has even suggested dissolving the whole chamber. John Montriest reports.
A new year has started with the legislature in an uproar. Though the partisan divide has always been bitter, rancor over controversial recent amendments now has the two biggest parties threatening each other with a political showdown. Over the weekend, Democratic Progressive Party whip Ke Jianming threw down the gauntlet with a call to wipe out much of the rival Kuomintang's caucus through a nationwide mass recall campaign.
我们要双罢，第一个要罢免政务院长，第二个要罢免国民党41个区域立委。
That would mean the ousting of every Kuomintang district lawmaker elected last year, decimating the caucus from the biggest in the chamber to a tiny 13-seat minority. Ke has justified the move by saying the Kuomintang has pushed through bills that are either unconstitutional or put Taiwan's interests at risk. Though there aren't yet any concrete plans to carry out this threat, the Kuomintang already says it accepts the challenge and may retaliate with a recall campaign of its own.
面对民进党来势汹汹的大罢免潮，我们一定会正面迎战。在一些区域里面，也会针对民进党的立委都有可能成为罢免的对象。
But the rhetoric hasn't stopped there. One of the most divisive of the recent bills, one that would set new rules on the Constitutional Court's ability to hear or rule on cases, is up for a revote, and the Kuomintang is likely to get it passed a second time. To prevent this, the Democratic Progressive Party's whip wants a referendum on dissolving the whole chamber. Legal experts say that's not actually possible under current laws.
所以呢，如果要用公投方式解散国会，基本上来讲，唯一一个可能性就是修宪。
But even if all of it, from threats of recall campaigns to threats to dissolve the chamber, is just political bluster, it is an escalation. And just days after DPP President Lai Ching-te said he wanted to bridge the political divide between the parties. If this latest escalation is any indicator, it could be another turbulent year ahead for Taiwanese politics in 2025. Klein Wong and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus News.
South Korean prosecutors have indicted the country's former defense minister over his involvement in President Yoon Suk-yeol's declaration of martial law last month. It comes as the deadline looms for an arrest warrant against Yoon, who remains holed up in his Seoul residence. Rosie Gredinger reports.
Thousands of protesters braved the cold on the streets of South Korean capital Seoul, one side rallying for and the other against embattled President Yoon Suk-yeol. The leader was suspended and impeached for his short-lived declaration of martial law just over a month ago that plunged the country into political chaos. But he can only be removed from office by the Constitutional Court that is still deliberating whether to uphold the impeachment. Yoon is now under investigation, with a warrant out for his arrest for refusing to appear before investigators. Many here want him to answer for his actions.
이렇게 부당한 사회에 너무 순응하지 않고 저기서도 단대 집회를 하고 있거든요. 꼭 저희 나라가 올바른 민주주의로 갈 수 있도록 모두가 힘을 맞췄으면 좋겠습니다.
그래서 계속 나올 것 같아요, 앞으로도. 대통령이 탄핵될 때까지도 나올 거고.
But Yoon's supporters have also come out in force, calling for his impeachment to be declared invalid, arguing it could threaten the country's security.
지금 우리 대한민국은 중공 프락시에 의해서 프락시들과 거기에 종속된 인간들과 우리는 싸움을 하고 있습니다. 우리는 곧 다시 회복될 것입니다.
우리 국민들이 완전히 대통령을 지지하게 됐습니다.
As demonstrations continue, Yoon is holed up in the presidential residence, facing criminal charges for insurrection and abuse of power. Anti-corruption investigators were blocked by the presidential guard when they attempted to detain Yoon a few days earlier. And with less than 24 hours until Yoon's arrest warrant expires, the head of the security service has reaffirmed he has no intention of complying with the warrant.
지금 윤석열 대통령은 비록 탄핵소추안이 국회에서 가결된 상태이지만 주권자인 국민의 손으로 뽑은 현직 대통령이 분명하고 법이 정한 대로 그에 상응한 경호를 받고 있습니다.
According to local media, anti-corruption authorities are preparing to attempt to arrest Yoon once again, also considering applying to extend the warrant's validity. As the next political moves are being mulled over, protesters here insist on remaining on the streets. Both sides are adamant they are fighting for South Korea's democracy. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Gredinger for TaiwanPlus.
North Korea appears to have fired a missile into the sea off its east coast. South Korea's military confirmed the launch, with Japan's Coast Guard saying it could be a ballistic missile. The launch coincides with political uncertainty in South Korea and a visit by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. While North Korea has been accelerating its missile development in recent years, this is its first test in about 2 months. Former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says China's leader Xi Jinping does not have the power to decide the future of Asia or even of Taiwan.
Free nations, especially those in this area, in the Indo-Pacific, must send an unambiguous message to Beijing that you are free, that Taiwan is free, that Taiwan is independent, and it's going to stay that way. Nothing's going to change it.
Pompeo was the top U.S. diplomat during Donald Trump's first term as president and is making his 4th trip to Taiwan. He called on the incoming Trump administration to advocate for Taiwan's international participation in academic, business, and intergovernmental organizations. The southeast of Taiwan is home to a special style of religious performance that locals hope will soon be granted special heritage status. John Van Trieste takes a look.
The religious dance, Ba Jia Jiang, is an art form that's been evolving in Taiwan for centuries. And here in the southeastern county of Taitung, there's a local twist on the tradition, now 67 years old, whose performers are hoping will get special recognition. The tight symbolic formations and elaborate costumes are much the same as those you can see elsewhere, but here the typical 8 performers, representing heavenly generals, are increased to 13. Those who know the local Zhonghe Temple's troupe see notable differences in style, too.
我们的脚步跟脸谱始终是保持着我们从东港过来的时候的一些传承不曾改变。
But while it's appreciated as a staple of temple events, Bajiajiang as a whole has an image problem, a stereotype that troops attract rough characters like delinquents and gangsters. And so this local variant is eager to stand apart. It's applying to the county government for inclusion on the local intangible heritage list.
它蛮特别的是，它是以石家将这种画脸着装出军的一个过程当中做一个登录。
University students from the area are helping spread the word with a series of promotional merchandise. The hope is to get this art form formally recognized by the end of the year, joining it to a list of other religious rituals that make this corner of Taiwan culturally distinct. Chris Ma and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A Buddhist monastery in Nepal has reopened, drawing crowds to see its unique residents, Kung Fu fighting nuns. Tiffany Wong reports.
Kicking and punching while wielding swords. These Kung Fu nuns are back on stage after their monastery closed for 5 years during COVID. And now hundreds are turning out to see their skills. The monastery is the only one in its lineage to give nuns equal status as monks, allowing them to practice martial arts and exercise. Since its opening in 2009, the monastery has attracted 300 nuns from Bhutan, India, and Nepal, who also want to learn Kung Fu.
कुंग फू हम हमारे मेंटल और फिजिकल फिट रहने के लिए करते हैं और हमारा पर्पस थे वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट एंड जेंडर इक्वालिटी.
I really want to become a nun, and I have seen that nuns are doing lots of different walks, and they also perform the kung fu, and you know I am very happy. I'm really attached with them, and I really want to become a nun to help others. Like they are helping lots of people at the time also. That's why I decided to become a nun at the young age.
They also want to achieve enlightenment, the highest state in Buddhism. But one nun from India says she believes she can also make a difference in her current cycle of life.
I always say like helping others is our religion. Whatever is more beneficial for other people, I would like to do that. Like we do a lot of self-defense workshops and we do a lot for environment. I think that would be my goal for now, coming forward.
The nuns have helped villages recover from natural disasters and hosted environmental cleanup pilgrimages. And for every community helped and every young girl inspired by these Kung Fu nuns, they may be one step closer to reaching enlightenment. Scott Huang and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Over 200 dinosaur footprints have been discovered in a quarry in southern England. The tracks are among the longest on Earth, and they're making quite an impression on scientists. Bryn Thomas reports.
Researchers in England are getting a glimpse into distant prehistory. That's after a worker discovered hundreds of dinosaur footprints from the Jurassic period in a quarry in Oxfordshire.
This is by far the largest dinosaur track site anywhere in the UK. It's actually one of the largest dinosaur track sites anywhere in the world. And it has these incredibly long dinosaur trackways, so some of these are stretching well over 150 meters.
The tracks are thought to be about 166 million years old. They sometimes cross and are from several different dinosaurs, including herbivores like Cereosaurus and Diplodocus and carnivores like Megalosaurus.
We've got so many prints here, we've got so many trackways, and we're several days into the excavation now, and we're still discovering more trackways.
So far, a team of 100 researchers say they've discovered over 200 footprints, each one a physical trace of an unknown past. Patrick Chen and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out these scenes from the annual Three Kings Parade in Madrid. The event marks the end of Christmas celebrations. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.